Being landless is something that the ex-slave has been conditioned to accept as normal. He never questions it. His subconscious mind holds to the idea that God ordained lifelong rent. It has become so normal that the ex-slave will protest if the ex-slave master uses the N-word or openly mistreats him. But he will not protest about the fact that the ex-slave master has him chained in lifelong rent and keeps him stripped of any land base so that he is forced to continue serving a master. But the long miseducation and the long domestication of the Negro robbed him of a vision of genuine African liberation. That is not a concept that he can visualize. His mind lives in a box, so he therefore aspires to make the slave plantation a better place, with better slave masters that would employ more slaves and treat them better. Why is this so? Why is the ex-slave so distracted from addressing the root of his bondage that keeps him stationed on the plantation as a perpetual servant to other races? It is because in order for the slave's domestication to be as perfect as it is today, he had to be taught that God ordained the ex-slave master to have land and the ex-slave to have a job. The slavery experience so damaged the mentality of the Negro that he would become a creature who is quite comfortable with begging for jobs and begging for favors, and is void of any ambition to stand independent of those that have long enslaved him. You will never see him pooling his collective resources with a view of attaining some form of independence. But you will always see him with his hands stretched out for the compromising gifts of patronage and sponsorship. But what does it mean to be landless? What are the implications? It means that the ex-slave's life is totally dependent on an artificial construct called money. And this thing called money became just as important in the ex-slave's life as water or breath. This total dependency on money that the ex-slave has inherited as a result of his landless predicament also means that the ex-slave's life is now depending on an artificial lifeline that is controlled and dispensed by the same slave-holding entities that enslave him. The ex-slave master is therefore in a position to cut off the flow of money and cause the ex-slave's life to go into such a downhill nosedive that he could easily discover that he does not belong anywhere on planet Earth. He can actually become a vagrant with no fixed place of abode. So keeping the ex-slaves landless and totally dependent on money became a powerful law enforcement tool that allowed the ex-slave masters to chain their ex-slaves to their centuries-old servant role on the plantation, where they would have to continue on the job long after emancipation, working from dawn to dusk for their ex-slave masters. It actually replaced the old slave driver and kept the ex-slave running a never-ending race to pay his lifelong rent. Being landless is therefore a means of slave control that keeps the ex-slave living a life of permanent vulnerability and permanent insecurity in permanent submission to the ex-slave master. So out of this vulnerability and out of this insecurity, the ex-slave was more likely to develop a cooning mentality than to develop a liberation mentality. And that is why the Negro is often found today aligning himself with the CIA program and fixing his nose, fixing his skin, fixing his hair, fixing his clothes, and fixing his personality in order to be eligible to receive bribes. Therefore, amongst any group of ex-slaves today, there are often more traitors than freedom fighters. Cooning up to the slave master became a normal way of life. If his life lacks money, the ex-slave can therefore be expected to become a very dangerous and desperate creature, or he can become a creature that will easily betray his brother and sell his own soul. In fact, the modern plantation was arranged in such a way that the ex-slave will become so preoccupied with hunting for money that the quest for liberation will take second place, or even no place at all. And that is exactly the plan of the evil slaveholder. Non-stop hunting for the illusion of money was intended to replace the pursuit of genuine African liberation. The present satanic world order was arranged this way, so that ex-slave masters would remain in control and ex-slaves will remain controlled. This is proven by the fact that 6 generations after emancipation and 6 generations of endless hunting for money from dawn to dusk has not changed the plantation's status quo in the slightest way. The ex-slave master remains the owner of the plantation, and the ex-slave remains a provider of labor on the plantation. In other words, the ex-slave remains doing exactly the same thing that he was brought on the slave ship to be doing. Structured landlessness is indeed a means of slave control, and this is the heart of the racism that keeps one race in bondage to another race. Can a people that have been subjugated and made inferior ever escape their inferiority while bowing down and worshipping the very same image that made them inferior?